I'm often asked the question, can you integrate wildlife to your livestock operation successfully? And the quick answer to that is yes, it can be done. We just have to make sure that there are certain concessions, certain accommodations that are made in your overall operation so that the needs of wildlife can be met. An important aspect of that statement, I guess, is that you better know what the needs of that wildlife that you're interested in actually are. Whether I deal quite a bit in quail management and deer management. Fairly familiar with those animals' needs. If there are some other animals you're interested in, you'd want to be interested in their basic needs. And that's so that you can adjust your operation in a way that would make room for them. And it's all about making room for them because there's only so much production out there, be it forage production or browse production, or even weed, as we call forb production. And it's a fairly finite amount of production that you're dealing with. So it's a matter of how you parcel it out amongst those species. Now, some people would say, and I've heard some folks say, as they bought a new piece of land, that the first thing they're going to do is get rid of the cows. Now, that may be the right thing to do if it's really overgrazed and it needs to be deferred for a year or two to recover. I'd say that's exactly what you ought to do. But long term, I would hesitate to do that, because to keep cattle off of a place because you're interested in wildlife, because many times cattle can be your friend. They can be a good tool when it comes to managing the country for wildlife. You can't have as many head of cows when you do have a wildlife operation as you would have had wildlife not been a concern at all. That's true, and but yet you can have a certain number of wildlife, certain number of livestock, head of livestock, that would be conducive entirely with good wildlife production. And the income you might have made over a greater number of a head of livestock could be made up for by the income in wildlife production. Long term, though, we've got to stay in business. Of course, dollars matter, but if you're treating your country well from a wildlife standpoint, generally it's good rangeland stewardship, and that means it's going to be a more sustainable operation for the long term for your livestock just as well as for the wildlife. So I would encourage you to think about accommodating wildlife in your operation. From an altruistic standpoint, I want you to think about it just because it's the right thing to do, but also it could benefit your bottom line. Land value nowadays is largely, in many parts of the country, a function of how much wildlife is on that land, and so the resale value of your land can be enhanced. But as I said, also good rangeland management to benefit wildlife is just good overall rangeland management, and that'll benefit the long-term sustainability of your livestock operation too.